Hey guys, today I have something very special for you. My long-awaited Dreadhunger tier list. I'll be rating everything Dreadhunger up against each other. Is Chaplain a better crewmate or thrall? What is the best thrall spell? And how will I rate Tommy, Miri, or Thaler? Let's find out. Alrighty, we're rating everything Dreadhunger from S to F tier, with S being the best and F of course being the worst, just as it is in Dreadhunger. We'll start with the Captain, when played as a crewmate, symbolised by the red outline, which I know is a bit backwards, but when thralls are selected in Dreadhunger, they are highlighted in blue, with the crewmates having a red border, so here we are. Captain has a pretty meh character bonus, with the increased steering being largely irrelevant as a crewmate outside of some extreme exceptions. His starting saber makes him dangerous at close range from day dot, but he is expected to drive the ship on the first day and loses out on some early looting opportunities as a result. But he also looks a lot like my favourite character from the TV show The Terror, Sir John Franklin, played by Kieran Hines, so A tier. As a crewmate, Chaplin's trinket finding character bonus is kinda useful, but I mean, 7% is pretty pathetic. His starting shovel is a terrible weapon, but digging up bodies and chests is super fun. He's basically a loot goblin who you can never really trust. I did have him in the D tier, but he has got a purple stole on, which yes is a term I looked up for the sake of this video, so C tier. Cook makes the stew I love so much, extremely quickly thanks to his character bonus, which is great as a crewmate. He also has a brilliant character model with just the funniest poker table faces. Plus he goes,
"Hello, Captain."
No. You gonna play with the cook? There's the mouth, you stupid bastard!
in the tutorial, so naturally, A tier. Doctor is a naturally slimy guy, even when he's a crewmate. You can only ever really trust him if he saves you from a poisoning that you're pretty sure he couldn't have done himself. Even then, you still find yourself turning around quickly whenever he walks past you to check he isn't injecting you in the back as he passes. He's the only character in the game with 2 character bonuses, which are both useful. I'm especially fond of the extra healing points he gives, but not for any particular reason. B tier. Engineer's a beast of a crewmate, powering out coal runs with his barrel and defending himself with his powerful axe. His bonus is very useful, reducing crafting time, but he's bald, and without a warm bonnet on or a good set of hair, he's certain to freeze, so A tier. As a crewmate, Hunter is just kind of there. She's great at gathering meat with her character bonus, but most cooks won't take the meat she provides, and her stew times are so long should she make them herself. Her weapon of choice is the bow, which is a shell of its former self, with a pitiful 50% arrow return rate after killing something or someone, and exhaustion when firing it. Plus, she is the leading cause of Bongo deaths in the Arctic, a truly great beast who deserves nothing but our love. D tier. Marine can reload his gun faster thanks to his character bonus, which is super useful when he's a crewmate, because now he can shoot his other crew more regularly when he suspects them for the smallest reason. Yay. He's wearing red in case you were confused by his many clones of the past, and his face has always seemed a little ratty, or weaselly, or maybe ferrety? I don't know, but he's also protected me from some thralls before, shutting down early thrall PvP plays, so C tier. Navigator as a crewmate goes S tier. Now, moving on to each of these characters as thralls. The captain's character bonus can be used when he's the thrall to turn the ship around more effectively, which is great. But the expectation that the captain will drive the ship at the beginning still leaves the captain behind the 8 ball from day dot, which sucks, especially when you're the thrall. Fortunately, after that first ship movement, the captain has no real expectation on him and can make up for the lost time during the first night and barely be missed. Plus, he's still handsome as fuck. A tier. Chap as the thrall is a real mixed bag. His character bonus is pretty worthless, only really aiding in setting him up with early weaponry and thrall material. He also has easy access to bones, which is of course fantastic for early totems, but the strength of this day 1 setup is RNG based and varies depending on the loot he manages to find. It's difficult to earn trust and blend as the chaplain, as the crew will really have no easy way to build trust with you, and short of supplying a bunch of coal yourself to the ship, you won't make it into the inner circle of trust on the ship. But on the flip side, nor is there any expectation for you, and you can shape your game however you like. B tier. Cook as a thrall is seriously bleh. Despite his easy access to the powerful Gatling gun, this PvP beast has his wings clipped by heavy crew expectation and their constant whining for stew. His hilarious good looks and goofy personality are all still there, but they're overshadowed by your limited options to blend successfully and a character bonus that, whilst it does allow the quick brewing of poison, is rarely used as a benefit for the thrall and will primarily assist the crew more than you in-game. D tier. Doc is still seriously slimy, and combining this with the fact that you're actually the thrall this time, now that's a difficult blend game. The only way the crew trust you is if you cure a poison that they're super confident you didn't commit, and even then it's a fragile trust that won't keep you alive should push come to shove later on. You are expected to make antidotes on the first day. However, as the thrall, you can largely determine if poison will be relevant that game, and can instead opt to set up a poison-free game and focus on other thrall objectives that match. All whilst holding the 2 antidotes that took you about 10 seconds to make as proof of your innocence. C tier. Engineer sucks as thrall. I mean, he doesn't actually suck. Thrall engineers do win quite a lot, but my god, they're just a miserable breed of thrall. The vast majority of them play in the exact same way, game in, game out. Step 1. Rush the nearest coal and grab it all. Step 2. Push away from the ship whilst holding the coal and use some crappy excuse to go to a workbench where you proceed to destroy it. Other players around you won't kill you because they're not pricks, but you're pretty much guaranteed a thrall at this point. Step 3. Craft a powder keg and return to the ship with 1 or 2 coal. Step 4. Blow the ship up with your powder keg and sabotage the boiler, specifically the coal that has come from another major source of coal on that map, and it is now a devastating blow to the crew as they've lost all close coal, at least most of the coal in close proximity. Step 5. Leave and proceed to loot as much coal and gunpowder as possible, and use your character bonus to craft powder kegs quickly whilst forcing the crew to travel further and further from the ship for coal. Step 6. Bomb the ship when the crew inevitably make it to the end anyway, since coal is plentiful on the summit and most of the other maps, and do one of the 2 following options. 1. You kill the ship's guard and bomb the ship successfully. Throw away any nails you find and kill anyone who boards the ship whilst the ship sinks and you win. Great. Or 2. Get shot by a musket as you approach because your teammate didn't blend in after you obnoxiously didn't blend in on the first day, and proceed to complain about how unfair muskets are, or even complain that there's a guard on the ship at all if you're really that petty. Ugh. Step 7. Win or lose, largely depending on the RNG of who wins the fights on board, and how well your partner is playing and how garbage your attitude is. I've seen it 1,000 times, and I'll see it 1,000 more times. I understand that you're limited in your options as an engineer who wants to blend because of the crew's heavy expectation. But please, next time you're a thrall engineer, try something new. For me, please just don't be this boring bullshit strategy that's bleh. But in the meantime, D tier. As a thrall, Hunter is much, much better. Her speedy meat harvesting time proves extremely useful for sourcing human meat, which is of course fantastic for sustainability in the night. And the loose expectation surrounding her character leaves many options open for you from day one. Of course, she still suffers from spawning with the bow, but the arrow return rate isn't nearly as important for a thrall who's shooting arrows into crewmates for range damage instead of a bear or two where you need to get more arrows to take on the next majorly strong bear to kill it. So a strong thrall pick with a lot of creative possibility. A tier. Marine as a thrall suffers from early PvP syndrome, where they feel like they need to shoot someone early into the game to, quote-unquote, have a chance of winning. Funnily enough, this affects both new and experienced players. The fact the Marine has the means to kill someone pretty easily at a range day one closes a player's mind off to other possibilities. His character bonus is great for PvP, and serves as a reason to actually trust the Marine, who simply hasn't shot someone by the end of day 3, just because of how commonplace it is for Marines to kill someone on day 1 or 2 when they're actually a thrall. But he has potential to be a strong thrall with plenty of opportunity to blend. It's just wasted by so many players. C tier. Finally, Navigator as a thrall. The Navigator still goes brrr, brrr. But as a thrall, this extra speed offers you so much more. It allows you to speed away from other players day 1 to gain the loot of your choice, or to perform early thrall actions out of sight. It helps you win melee PvP fights, as you can chase down a fleeing player, relentlessly chopping away their health, or run away should your health get too low. Nav is both the perfect crewmate and the perfect thrall, with plenty of opportunity for creative and effective strategies. S tier. Now let's move away from Dreadhunger playable characters and focus on what really matters in Dreadhunger. Seals are seriously cute. No, not that one though, he's cute too. This one. An S tier for the tubby sausage. Bongo is Dreadhunger's mascot. He brings pain, but he also brings us together. He makes us laugh, makes us cry. Watch out for Bongo in the S tier, guys. These wolf bastards are fast as fuck and have an aggro range the size of Jupiter. They're a necessary threat out in the Arctic, and few things strike more fear in my heart than hearing 5+ pack wolves all howling when I get a little too close. C tier. Cannibals are vicious, relentless, and glitchy as fuck. Seriously, whoever programmed them to stop and throw like 10 fucking rocks in a row, I hate you. Like, just run into the bear trap that's right in front of you, but no, you're gonna stop and throw rock. C tier. Rabbits. Fucking. Seriously? For God's sake. What? How the fuck did that miss? Get the fucking. Just fuck you. F tier. I mean, rats are just smaller rabbits, but not so obviously obnoxious, so D tier. My rat hat has inflated my ego tenfold. It makes me feel like Dreadhunger royalty. If I had $1 for every time someone commented or asked me, how'd you get that rat on your head? I could actually afford to buy a real rat that was trained to run on my head constantly, so S tier. Speaking of hats, let's talk about Thaler the hat salesman for a moment. He's so over-the-top charismatic and has just good items for sale. He has some hilarious voice lines, but you can't buy the top hat that he very clearly has on display, so B tier. Old Jacob was once a sailor like you. D tier. Miri the Mask Lady strongly believes that
Masks do not hide, they reveal.
And will tell you some mysterious mask one-liner every time you join another lobby. But her stuff's pretty good, so B tier. The Thrall Caravan Lady, let's call her Helga. Helga is always there, quietly watching with the occasional cough or splutter.
But she's the only character on the docks who doesn't constantly talk, and I love that.
A tier. Tommy says shit like, "Hey Goldfinch, over here, huh?" And "Bits and bobs for yourself or a friend?" You have no friends, Tommy. No one likes you. F tier. Sammy the ship merchant sells some good stuff. He's probably made the most money on the docks, despite being there the shortest time. But his voice lines trigger when you're on board the ship waiting for a game and just walking around the top deck, which is super annoying. My god, he can be loud. D tier. Now, my personal ship, thanks to Sammy the Ship Merchant, is the most elegant, gorgeous, sexy, lucky, superstitious, and historically accurate vessel ever to sail the Arctic. You know you agree and want to be on board the HMS Plumoe. S tier. Now, there are very few things that I love more than my ship. But stew? I love stew. S tier isn't good enough. Just give me a second. Adro. Above. Yep. Purple and love. Boom. That's better. Next, the spyglass is literally the best Snoop item ever. It's like Fred and George Weasley's extendable ear thing, if it was also extendable eyes. S tier. Okay, so some people love muskets, others hate them. But I think we can all agree that anyone who hates them is wrong because they're important to game balance, and if you ban them from your lobby, you're on a power trip thinking you know better than the devs and are controlling how other people play just because you can't adapt your Thrall playstyle to actually play around an intended game mechanic that punishes Thralls who both out themselves too early. Okay, that's better. Seriously, stop banning them in your lobbies, don't play God, and just improve your Thrall game. Jesus Christ, I don't want to hear any more muskets are OP and makes crew boring and Thrall impossible arguments. You just need some common sense shook into the lot of you. A tier. Totems go, why shit? Yeah. And they look pretty cool. B tier. Nitro is the cause of most of my best and worst memories in Dreadhunger, and they make some amazing, explosive fireworks. B tier.
Next we have the backbone of Dreadhunger. Is that right? How the fuck did you get in my tier list? Well, all things considered, B tier seems appropriate.
Speaking of bones, the bone dagger looks hella cool, and it's the peak of evolution after it learnt how to draw blood from someone without it even pulling at their feet. A tier. Now, let's talk Thrall spells for a little while, and let's rate them all. We'll begin with Spirit Walk, which is the definition of an absolute crutch spell for thousands of Thralls. Now, don't get me wrong, it's a great spell and does so much, so regularly, and it's brilliant. But it's trained, lazy, spineless Thralls who will Spirit Walk away at the slightest whiff of danger, instead of backing their blend play and trusting the crew won't kill them. Seriously, play like 10 Thrall games without Spirit Walk and improve your blend game. Sure, you'll lose a bunch of them and probably die a bunch trying to Spirit Walk away, but then remember you don't have it. But after a little bit, you'll learn to hold your nerve, and you'll thank me. But it's still a great spell despite all this crutch bullshit, so A tier. Cannibal Attack is another lazy thrall spell and gets very tedious to both use and play against. Thralls tend to rely on it and they just run away and think I'll cannibal them over and over again. It used to be much more effective than it is now, but it still goes so it's escaped the worst case scenario and is instead in the D tier. Whiteout is a solid spell and a staple of Dreadhunger. It has trained thousands of crewmates to unknowingly learn the maps off by heart after their many deaths to the cold after getting lost in their attempt to get back to the ship late at night. B tier. Doppelganger is a blend thrall's best friend. It's the spell that can make or break your thrall game. Doppelganger can get you caught as the thrall, having achieved nothing, or completely send the crew down the wrong track from day one. I respect the hell out of this high skill ceiling spell and will continuously endeavor to use it in better and more creative ways each game I play. S tier. Hush is... so, obviously, B tier. Finally, we have the maps of Dreadhunger. First, let's begin with the tutorial map. Honestly, it's a great tutorial with some really fun and interesting interactions and side quests. The map is well designed and there are some great cutscenes. The tutorial successfully teaches you how to play and survive as a crewmate, but it doesn't touch on how to play Thrall at all, which is a pretty major oversight in a game that new players already struggle to pick up and play, so C tier. The approach is the original map, a great introduction to Dreadhunger and shows off just the scale of the game for newer players. There are some serious kinks that do need ironing out that makes the map much easier to win as a crewmate than Thrall, and there is so much potential in this map if it was just to be reworked, if I could just take the reins and change it. But I do like the challenge as Thrall and enjoy the one-off crew games here and there, so C tier. The Summit is Dreadhunger's crown jewel. This map keeps people playing the game for hours and hours. It's a perfect balance of freedom and experience. Creativity can still run wild, but learning to play the map more efficiently as a crewmate just amplifies the challenge for both sides. There's plentiful loot, and it was Bongo's first home. I just wish there were more maps, or at least a way for players to design or rework their own maps in a custom, sandbox mode or something, and I'm going to take it out on the Summit, so A tier. The new expanse was clearly inspired by the Summit and gives players a similar experience, just with different challenges along the way. And as a playtester, I know the love, passion, time, and just relentless reworking that went into testing this map to get it to where it is today. But it's far from perfect, and it has lost the identity of the original map. I'd love all the details in the church and the secrets around the map, but C tier. And it just wouldn't be right to rate Dreadhunger's maps without including the old expanse. It had character. Sure, it was pretty darn easy for crew to win with a criminally short nitro run, but it had personality. It was its own unique experience, and it's a damn shame it was completely removed from the game and doesn't remain playable as its own map to this day. Just with maybe a few minor tweaks to nitro, coal spawns, and with Bongo resisting nitro drops, I don't know. There's a lot of potential there, but B tier. And finally, the devs of Dreadhunger. How would I rate them? They created, effectively, my favourite game. A game with extraordinary depth, with brilliant character design, And as an Australian, it's been incredible to be able to play the game with all of you who are overseas without feeling like I'm at some massive disadvantage due to lag. I built my YouTube channel around Dread Hunger and have met all of you as a consequence. I love this game, and I respect the hell out of the minds that worked hundreds, if not thousands of hours to make it what it is today. I don't agree with every decision they've ever made, but I adore their creation. Which is of course why I rate Dread Hunger in the love tier.
But where to rate the devs? I mean, I love them. They've been brilliant. I just wish we knew where they were and what was happening with Dread Hunger moving forward. So until we do, let's just put them off screen. Just for now. But I would like to take this opportunity to speak freely on Dread Hunger's future, just for a moment, before we end this video. I really do hope there's more in the tank for the developers and for Dread Hunger in general, as there is so much potential with this game. Whether it's adding a secondary version of each existing character and adding just one new character to make it a 9-character cast that's swapped around, or whether you added new thrall mechanics like dropping the anchor off the back of the ship, or creating additional ways to sabotage, or extra ways to trap other players. There is so much potential. I've been saying it for years since the game fully released, even before that. And I really do hope the developers continue to push this game as far as it possibly can and to keep the game fresh, create new maps. I would love to help in any way I possibly can. So if you have ideas on what you'd like Dread Hunger to go, if there is a developer listening, I really would like to have a chat, have a conversation, start potentially getting the 8-ball moving on what could be a very bright future for this fantastic game. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching this tier list. Now, you may notice I'm wearing something different. I've got a different background from when I started this video. That's because I recorded the intro to this video almost a month and a half ago, if not a little bit longer. I've been planning, rewriting, revisiting, just completely changing this video over and over for a long time. It's taken a long time to record all the footage that's in this video. I've done so many different takes and all that. I love Dread Hunger. I love you guys. I try to put every bit of energy and every bit of effort I can into making these videos amazing. And I wasn't happy with many different iterations of this video in the past. So hence such a drastic difference from the intro to this video to the outro. But I'm not done yet. I really do hope you enjoyed it, and I would love to hear your version of my tier list. I'd like you to take all of the images and different characters and that are in my tier list and take it and make your own tier list and upload it and talk me through your version of it. I'd love to chat with you on the Discord. I'd love to talk to you on my live streams, all of it. And to access it, you do just need to go over to the new Discord channel over on my Discord server titled Dread Hunger Tier List, something or other. Probably just the Dread Hunger Tier List. You can download a zip file which has, I promise, no scammy bullshit. It's just you can download the images I used in this video. And you can go over to, I believe it's tierlistmaker.com or whatever it was, the website I used for this video. You can go over there and you can make your own, save the image and upload it to probably the same website, upload it to the same Discord channel. And yeah, we'll compare the pair, so to speak. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching this long but different video. And good luck with all your endeavors. And remember to think just a little bit different.